Hi, boys and girls. Today in math, we are going to continue learning about place value. We're going to use place value and something called expanded form to compare numbers. We're going to be comparing some 3-digit numbers. Let's go ahead and get started. Our math message for today is, which number is larger, 220 or 229? Please explain how you know. You may use base 10 blocks if you need to. You can draw those on your whiteboard. If I compare the numbers 220 and 229, and I use base 10 blocks to help me compare those, this is what it would look like. So we would have 2 flats and 2 longs. For 229, we would have 2 flats again, 2 longs again, and 9 cubes. So take a look at both of those numbers. Which one is larger, 220 or 229? Well, looking at the base 10 blocks, we can tell that 229 is bigger because there's more things on the board. There's the same number of flats, the same number of longs, but 229 has some cubes, 9 cubes, and 220 does not. So in this way, we know that 229 is the larger number. I also know that 29 is more than 20, so 229 has to be more than 220. There are 2 hundreds and 2 tens in each number. But there are more ones in 229, so again, 229 is the larger number. Another thing that we can do to compare both of these numbers is to align the digits starting on the left. So for example, the hundreds digits are the same. The tens digits are the same. And then when we compare these last two, I know that 0 is less than 9. So again, 229 would be the larger number. So you can actually compare these numbers a few different ways. Another thing that I would want to remind all of you of are these symbols. This is the greater than symbol. This is the less than symbol. And this is the equal to symbol. So we use these words and these symbols to help us compare numbers. So let's go ahead and look at a couple of numbers and use these symbols in the middle. So using the same numbers we had a little bit ago, 220 and 229, I used a less than symbol because I know that 220 is less than 229. When we read this sentence, we read it just like we read a book. We read it from left to right. So like I said, this sentence says 220 is less than 229. You may also want to be reminded that you can pretend like this symbol is an alligator's mouth, and the alligator always opens up to the bigger number. What would happen if we switched these numbers around? Would we have to change the symbol that we use? Check this out. If I switch the numbers around and put 229 on this side and 220 on this side, guess what? My symbol also changes. Like I said, if you pretend that that symbol is an alligator's mouth, the alligator's mouth is always going to open up to the bigger number. So when we read this as a sentence, we say 229 is greater than 220. So if the number at the front is bigger, we use the greater than symbol. If the number at the front is smaller, we use the less than symbol. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use place value to compare numbers. We're going to talk about what expanded form means and use that to help us compare the numbers. Here we see two new numbers. This number says 549. This number says 547. Let's go ahead and use expanded form to help us compare these two numbers. So expanded form is when we break the numbers apart depending on where the numbers are in the place value. So for 549, we would write out 500 plus 40 plus 9. For 547, we would write out 500 plus 40 plus 7. This is what we call expanded form. All we did was take the number and break it apart. So, how do we use expanded form to determine which number is larger? Well, I can look at each of the numbers in the expanded form. 500 plus 40 plus 9, 500 plus 40 plus 7, beginning with the hundreds to see if one is larger. Well, both of these have 500. The 500s are the same. The two numbers in the tens place are the same. They're both a 4, so that means 40. Those are the same. But when we look at the number in the ones place, I know that 9 is a bigger number than 7. So, which number is larger? Yep, you guessed it, 549. And if we wanted to use a greater than, less than, or equal to symbol, which one do you think we would put right here in the middle between these two numbers? If you said the greater than symbol, you are correct. When I read this as a sentence, it says 549 is greater than 547. Here we see two new numbers, 337 and 325. Can you show these numbers in expanded form? Go ahead and pause the video and show these two numbers using expanded form. Hopefully you had a chance to show these numbers in expanded form. The first number, 337, you should have 300 plus 30 plus 7. And the second number, 325, you should have 300 plus 20 plus 5. Using this expanded form, can you determine which number is bigger? I see that both of the hundreds are the same. 300 and 300 are the same. The second number, which is in the tens place, are the 3 and the 2. 30 is bigger than 20. So already I know which number is the largest one. Then I can look at the number in the ones place, and I do know that 7 is bigger than 5. So which one of these numbers is bigger? You got it. It's 337. And which symbol should we put between these two numbers? If you said the greater than symbol, you are correct. Help me read this like a sentence. 337 is greater than 325. Good job. Give yourself a pat on the back. Thanks for listening today, boys and girls. The next time you have to compare some numbers, try to use these strategies. It will help you. Boys and girls, I hope you have a great day. Check out the blue box to see what your work is for the day. See you later, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving if I don't see you until the end of the day. Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.